Archery. One of the oldest sports still practiced today, archery is a staple of the modern Olympic Games. Targets 122 centimeters, or about 4 feet in length, are positioned 70 meters away from the competitors, who must shoot their arrows as close to the center of the target as possible. Artistic gymnastics. Artistic gymnastics is composed of a number of individual competitions on different apparatus, as well as a team competition involving gender-specific apparatus. Men compete across the floor exercise, pommel horse, rings, vault, parallel bars, and horizontal bar, while women's events include the vault, uneven bars, balance beam, and floor exercise. Athletics. A group of events divided into several major categories. Sprints with different lengths, from 100 to 10,000 meters. These include hurdles, relay events, and the steeplechase event, which is an obstacle race over the distance of 3,000 meters. Road events, which include marathon, marathon walk relay, and 20-kilometer walk. Field events, which include high jump, pole vaulting, long jump, triple jump, discus throw, hammer throw, javelin throw, and shot put, which involves throwing a heavy spherical ball, called the shot, as far as possible. Combined events. These include the heptathlon, which consists of 7 events, and the decathlon, which consists of 10 events. Badminton. Badminton is a racket sport played using a racket to hit a projectile with a crown of feathers in a conical shape, known as a shuttlecock, across a net. The most common forms of the game are singles, with 1 player per side, and doubles, with 2 players per side. Players must win 2 games of 21 points to win the match. Basketball. It consists of a 5-on-5 event, which is played on a rectangular indoor court, and a 3-on-3 event, which is played on one half of a basketball court, with both teams attacking and defending the same hoop. Olympic basketball games are divided into 4 10-minute quarters. Beach volleyball. Beach volleyball is played by 2 teams of 2 players on a sand court 16 meters long and 8 meters wide, slightly smaller than an indoor court. Beach volleyball matches are played outdoors, where wind, sun, and rain can affect playing conditions. BMX. BMX, or bicycle motocross, consists of 2 disciplines. BMX freestyle was first introduced in the X Games, a series of extreme sports events. It takes place in an urban park where athletes perform as many tricks as possible in 60 seconds. The performances are scored by judges based on difficulty, creativity, and style. BMX racing consists of fast-paced races with up to 8 riders on a 400-meter track packed with jumps, banked corners, and obstacles. Boxing. In Olympic boxing, only amateurs are allowed to compete, which makes the Olympic Games a starting point for the careers of many professional boxers, such as Muhammad Ali. Each bout is disputed over 3 rounds of 3 minutes each for men, and 4 rounds of 2 minutes each for women. Breaking. Breaking makes its debut as an Olympic sport at the 2024 Summer Olympics. Athletes use a combination of power moves as they adapt their style and improvise to the beat of the DJ's tracks in a bid to secure the judges' votes. Canoe Slalom. In canoe slalom, the aim is to navigate a canoe or kayak through a course of hanging downstream or upstream gates on river rapids in the fastest time possible, while taking care not to incur penalties for missing or touching gates. Canoe Sprint. Canoe Sprint is a water sport in which athletes race on calm water over a short distance in specially designed sprint canoes or kayaks. Canoe Sprint features sprints over various distances, with 1, 2, or 4 athletes per boat. Diving. Diving includes events for men and women at a 3-meter and 10-meter height. A panel of judges score each dive based on various criteria, including how aesthetically pleasing a diver's movements are, the complexity of the dive, and how well the diver enters the water. Equestrian. Equestrian events originated in ancient Greece and appeared in the ancient Olympic Games as chariot racing. It consists of 3 disciplines. Jumping. Riders and horses jump over obstacles, with time penalties given for each obstacle toppled. Dressage. Riders and horses perform a series of artistic movements to music. Judges evaluate the ease and fluidity with which they move around the course. Eventing. It combines the two other events with a third, cross-country, which consists of a long course combining solid and natural obstacles. Fencing. In fencing, two competitors, each holding a weapon in one hand, face each other to strike their opponent on a valid target area of the body. The rules differ according to the type of weapon used: foil, épée, or saber. The first fencer to reach 15 points, or score the most points at the completion of 3 3-minute rounds, wins the match. Football. The women's competition at the Olympic Games is organized in exactly the same way as FIFA tournaments. 2 teams of 11 players contest a 90-minute match on a grass pitch. The same rules apply to the men's game, but each team must be made up entirely of players under 23 years of age. However, 3 footballers above the age limit can be included in the squad list. Golf. Golf is a sport in which players use various clubs to hit a ball into a series of holes in as few strokes as possible. The golf format at the Olympic Games is stroke play, which consists of an 18-hole course played 4 times over 4 days. Handball. Handball is played between 2 teams of 7 players each on an indoor court 40 meters long and 20 meters wide. Players can take up to 3 steps without dribbling and can hold the ball for a maximum of 3 seconds. Hockey. At the Summer Olympics, hockey is played on artificial turf. Athletes use a hook-shaped stick with which they drive, control, and hit a hard ball. Indoor volleyball. Indoor volleyball is played by 2 teams of 6 players on a court 18 meters long and 9 meters wide. Matches are played to the best of 5 sets. The first team to score 25 points by a 2-point margin wins the set. Judo. Judo is a traditional Japanese martial art. The objective of judo is to throw your opponent to the ground, immobilize them with a pinning hold, or force them into submission with a joint lock or choke. Modern pentathlon. Modern pentathlon is made up of 4 events combining 5 sports: riding, with a show jumping course on an unfamiliar horse; fencing; swimming, with a 200-meter freestyle event; laser run, where athletes alternate between running and shooting at 5 targets from a distance of 10 meters. Mountain biking. In mountain biking, riders contest multiple laps around a loop on mountainous, rough terrain. The courses take 1 to 2 hours to complete, and the riders cover tens of kilometers during the event. Rhythmic gymnastics. Rhythmic gymnastics combines elements of traditional dance and artistic gymnastics, making use of 4 apparatus: ribbon, hoop, ball, and clubs. Rhythmic gymnastics is a women-only discipline. Road cycling. Road cycling is held primarily on paved roads. In the road race, all riders set off at the same time in a mass start. The length of the course is around 120 kilometers for women and 200 kilometers for men. In the time trials, the riders cover a much shorter distance of about 50 kilometers. Rowing. Rowing involves propelling a boat using oars fixed to the vessel. It differs from other disciplines in that rowers sit with their backs to the direction of movement, therefore crossing the finish line backwards. Rowers compete across a distance of 2,000 meters, alone or in teams of 2, 4, or 8. In sweep events, rowers hold a single oar with both hands, while in sculling they hold 1 oar in each hand. Rugby Sevens. Rugby Sevens is a variant of rugby union, in which teams are made up of 7 players playing 7-minute halves, instead of the usual 15 players playing 40-minute halves. Sailing. Sailing involves moving a boat solely by harnessing the power of the wind. It includes 10 events, among which windsurfing and kitesurfing. Shooting. There are 3 Olympic shooting disciplines: rifle, pistol, and shotgun. Rifle and pistol events take place on shooting ranges, where athletes aim at targets at distances of 10, 25, and 50 meters. Shotgun events take place outdoors, where athletes shoot at flying targets fired from different angles and directions. Skateboarding. Skateboarding consists of 2 disciplines: park and street. The park competition takes place on a varied course combining bowls and numerous bends which the athletes use to gather speed and perform tricks mid-air. The skateboarders are judged by the difficulty of the tricks, as well as their capacity to use the entire surface and all obstacles. Street events take place on a straight, street-like course with stairs, handrails, etc., set up to resemble the urban environments where skateboarding started out. Sport climbing. Sport climbing involves 3 formats. In the speed event, athletes scale a 15-meter high and 5 degrees inclinated wall in under 6 seconds for men and under 7 seconds for women. In bouldering, athletes climb 4.5-meter high walls without ropes in a limited period of time and in the fewest attempts possible. In the lead event, athletes climb a wall over 15 meters high in 6 minutes without having seen the route ahead of time. Surfing. Surfers perform maneuvers and tricks on a wave that are scored by judges based on the variety, type, and difficulty of the tricks. Surfing at the 2024 Olympics will take place in French Polynesia, breaking the record for the farthest medal competition to stage outside the host city at 15,800 kilometers or 9,800 miles. Swimming. Swimming events are held in a pool 50 meters in length. The 4 strokes of Olympic swimming events are breaststroke, butterfly, backstroke, and freestyle. A 5th race, the mixed medley, involves all 4 strokes, with swimmers switching between them. Unlike other swimming events, marathon swimming takes place in open water environments, such as the sea, rivers, and lakes. Athletes must complete a 10-kilometer course, which takes nearly 2 hours to complete. Synchronized swimming. Synchronized swimming developed by combining water acrobatics with music. The routines are scored by judges, who take into account the difficulty of the performed routine, the synchronization between the competitors, the level of execution, and the artistic impression. Table tennis. Table tennis is played on a table divided into 2 halves by a net in the middle, using an extremely lightweight ball and paddles comprising a wooden blade coated with a rubber surface on both sides. Singles matches are a best-of-7 games format, with the first player to 11 points winning each game. In doubles matches, players take turns to hit the ball. Taekwondo. Taekwondo, which translates to the art of kicking and punching, is a martial art with roots dating back to ancient Korea. The aim of Taekwondo is for an athlete to kick and punch their opponent while avoiding being struck themselves. Tennis. Olympic tennis consists of events in men's and women's singles, and men's, women's, and mixed doubles. Singles matches are played to the best of 3 sets, with a standard tie-break in every set, including the final set. Track cycling. Track cycling takes place in a bowl-shaped arena known as a velodrome, with events in different race formats for individuals and teams. Unlike road bicycles, track bicycles are fixed gear and do not have brakes. Trampoline. Trampolining involves athletes bouncing over 8 meters high in the air on a trampoline to perform a series of twists, bounces, and somersaults. A trampoline is a rectangular canvas made of synthetic fabric. Triathlon. The triathlon race format at the Olympics consists of a 1,500-meter swim, a 40-kilometer cycle, and a 10-kilometer run. The competition is a single race in which the first athlete to cross the finish line is the winner. Water polo. 2 teams of 7 players face off in a 3-meter deep pool. Matches consist of 4 8-minute quarters. Other than the goalkeeper, players may only hold the ball with one hand. Weightlifting. There are 2 lifts used in competition. In the snatch, the bar is lifted from the floor to above the head in one movement. The clean and jerk is a 2-stage action. The bar is first brought up to the shoulders before being jerked over the head. Wrestling. Modern wrestling consists of 2 separate disciplines. In Greco-Roman wrestling, a competitor can only use his arms and upper body to attack his opponent above the waist. Freestyle wrestling is a much more open form of the sport, in which competitors also use their legs and can hold opponents above or below the waist.